My name is Patrick Cosgrove and I'm the Student Recruitment Officer at Mary Immaculate College. And this evening I'm going to be in conversation with Dr. Carole Quigley from the Department of Drama and Theatre Studies, where we'll be discussing the BA in Contemporary and Applied Theatre Studies. So I think we might just jump straight into it, Carole, if that's okay with you.
Sure, yeah.
I suppose for anyone that is maybe unfamiliar with the course, do you want to just give a little bit of an overview of the BA in Contemporary and Applied Theatre Studies, just for people that mightn't know much about it?
Yeah, so the BA in Contemporary Applied Theatre Studies, or CATS program, as we refer to it, it's part of the newest drama department in the country. So we offer a 4-year full-time BA in Contemporary and Applied Theatre Studies. You are on campus for 3 years with us, so you study on campus in first, second and fourth year, whereas in third year you have two options. You can either study abroad or go on a placement. So while you're on campus with us, you have pretty much a 50-50 breakdown between practical work and traditional lecture-based kind of classroom work. So with your practical work, for example, you will do 3 full productions throughout the program, so 1 in first, second and fourth year. You get to use our magnificent venues that we have access to. So your first year show gets to be put on in the Bell Table in Limerick City Centre, and your final year show gets to be put on in the Lime Tree Theatre. But other practical elements involve, you know, learning all about theatre production, technical production, you know, sound, lighting, costumes, all of that kind of thing. And then on the more kind of traditional lecture-based side, you have all kinds of lectures: history of theatre, you know, different world theatre, contemporary theatre, all of those kind of things. But we do have a very specific emphasis on contemporary theatre, particularly contemporary Irish theatre, and applied theatre as well, which is when you take theatre outside of its traditional setting. So we would look at using theatre for, say, helping people with varying levels of ability, or helping people out in the community, or those kind of things. So it's not just about theatre happening in a traditional theatre setting.
Okay, yeah, that's a very comprehensive overview, Carole. If it just while you were mentioning it there, you were on about applied theatre and just maybe using it in different settings. Do you want to just elaborate a little bit more on that? Maybe something that previous students or classes might have done in previous years?
Yeah, so for example, in second year, you do a specific module that focuses on community theatre. And that's both a practical and a theoretical module. And what you do with that is you develop workshops and for various groups within the community. So for example, we've had our students go out to Enable Ireland and work with you know, members there, and we've had students even get work out of that and go on and do either volunteer work with them or internships and that kind of thing. Yeah, so it's very much about thinking outside the box when it comes to what theatre can be used for and how it can be used.
Yeah, that sounds great. It sounds there seems to be a lot more variety than maybe some people might expect. I suppose a question maybe some people or possible students might have, Carole, is I suppose a background in theatre or acting an advantage, or maybe to put it another way, do you necessarily have to have an interest in acting or theatre to do the course?
Yeah, it's a great question, and it's one that a lot of prospective students have. There are no set requirements for doing this course. So don't feel that, oh, I never went to stage school or I never did drama before, I can't do this. Absolutely not. We very much teach from a foundational level, whereby we assume that nobody has any specific knowledge. So we very much teach kind of from the ground up in that sense. So while it's great, it's fantastic if you come in and you say, I love acting and I've done acting and that's what I want to do, that's brilliant. But you don't need to know that. And certainly with a lot of the technical stuff, you'll find that nobody will have encountered that before. So, you know, sound, lighting, stage management, all of that kind of thing. So yeah, it's great.
Okay, yeah, that sounds very interesting. Yeah, obviously, I suppose, of course, obviously a 4-year course. It's a mix of continuous assessment and end of semester exams. I suppose as a student coming into first year, would you like to maybe just expand a little bit on what kind of modules they'll be studying in first year and throughout the 4 years of the course?
Yeah. So firstly, when it comes to the likes of assessment, we very much assess on a really using a wide range of areas and that kind of thing. So for example, if you don't like exams, don't worry. You will most likely only have one exam a semester, if even that. Not every semester has an exam. Whereas we do a lot of, a lot of your practical work will be assessed. So the actual performances you put on are assessed. Or, for example, in first year, you take a module in masks and puppetry, where you create puppets and you put on a small show doing that, and you're assessed through that. And then, of course, there's essays. We also assess via interviews, post-show interviews, that kind of thing. So there's a really wide range of assessment, both end of semester, end of year, and continuous. So it's really good if, there's a particular type of assessment you don't like. Nothing is done a huge amount. So we can't do a bit of everything. So with modules, when you come into first year, you take 5 modules in your first semester. So you have an intro to drama, theatre and performance, which is very much, an overview of theatre history, and, looking at different ways of doing theatre. And it's very, very introductory. And we assume that students don't know anything specific coming into that. You also do technical theatre and theatre production in your first semester. So we bring in industry experts, so producers, different designers, different people who work in the theatre professionally, to kind of give you an introduction to all of these various types of technical and production roles. And from that, you create a technical theatre handbook, where essentially you're assessed as if you were putting on a show, and you get to design the lights, design the sound, design the costumes, all of that. You have a practical class called Movement, Body and Voice in Theatre, which essentially is an introduction to different actor training techniques. So we always say to students, this is not an actor training program, but we do look at actor training techniques. So, you'll do introduction to Brechtian theatre, Stanislavski, all of that kind of thing. And then you do an introduction to devising theatre. And devising theatre is when you create theatre from scratch. So you don't take a known script. You work together as a group, as an ensemble, and create pieces of theatre together. And that's really helpful, because the full length show that you put on in your second year is a devised piece of theatre. So you, the students, create it together. So that's pretty much your first semester. And then second semester, you do lots of history of theatre. So again, it's a traditional style of module, whereby we're giving you insight into different areas of theatre history. You do some Irish theatre specifically. You look at world theatre. And then you also put on your show. So the show for first year kind of takes up 2 modules in the second semester.
Okay, very interesting there, Carole. Just in terms of, you're saying maybe putting on shows with students, I presume that would be with another group of students, would it be, and you all come together and kind of put on a show? Is that how it works? So
basically the CAT students do a show together. So it definitely is a case whereby you may end up with an Erasmus student or an international student taking your ensemble module, and therefore then they'll be a part of the show as well. But the show, we always specifically pick plays that fit the number of students that we have within the CATS program, and they will work on that together. And within that, you will act, and you are graded on your acting performance, but you also take on a production role in the show as well. So if you have a specific interest in stage management or costuming or something like that, you also get involved in how to design the show from that end. So then you end up being assessed on both production and performance.
Okay, so there's basically lots of different options available for you, I suppose, depending on where your interests lay. Very good. I suppose the other thing maybe some students might be wondering about is there off-campus placement at any stage, or can you go abroad at some stage during the course?
Yeah, so in third year, you're off campus for the entire year. So you have
Okay.
a couple of options. You can either do a placement or study abroad. Now, with study abroad, essentially you go to one of our partner universities. So we've a few in the UK, a few in Europe. We've had students go to the States as well. And what you do is you go as if you were a student in that university, and you take drama modules, and there's a bit of scope to take modules outside of your field as well, but all of that is kind of done, we approve which modules you take and all of that kind of thing. And you can study abroad for either one semester or for the full year. Or you can go on a professional placement. So what we like to do is that at the beginning of second year, we start talking to our students about what they may like to do the following year. And if you come to us and say, I really, really have an interest in producing, what we will do is we'll pair you with a company whereby you can go in and work on producing with that company. So all of the full-time staff members in our department have worked in theatre throughout the country for a number of years. And so we have a huge amount of connections with different theatre companies all over the country. So from Galway, Dublin, all around Limerick, Cork, all of that. So what we do is we find a company whereby we know they focus on what it is you're interested in. So again, if you have an interest in theatre for young audiences, or devising theatre or that kind of thing, we will pair you with a company that will work well with you. And most students then, they will do 2 separate placements. So they'll have one for first semester and one for second semester. Or you can study abroad for 1 semester and do 1 placement as well.
Okay, so you have some great options there. Like, you can go abroad for a semester, and you can stay at home, maybe get a placement in Ireland. Would you just maybe tell us a little bit about some of the placements that students might have got in previous years, Carole? Any particular industries or theatres maybe that were very good, or that you got good feedback maybe from students about?
Yeah, so firstly, we're lucky enough in that we now have several of our graduated students actually working full time with the placements that they had, relationships that they built, which is amazing. So yeah, we've had students work in Babro up in Galway. We've had several students work there, and they were working particularly on kind of theatre for young audiences. That we've had a lot of students go to and work with Limerick Youth Theatre. Again, students who have a particular interest in working with students in school age and that kind of thing, and they've worked on directing and creating the Limerick Youth Theatre shows. We've had students, working up in Dublin. We've had students working with Landmark Productions on Louise O'Neill's her book that was adapted into the play, Asking for It. We've had students working on the production team.
Okay, very good.
So we've had several students then working with kind of specific companies that look at feminism and have toured theatre around Europe and that kind of a thing. So there's a massive really range of placements. We also have students work with there's a company in Limerick that specifically focuses on production and production management, and a lot of the technical side of things. And creating new technologies, 3D technologies, all of that kind of thing. We've had students work in Limerick with that kind of thing as well. So there's a really broad range.
Yeah, sounds like some great opportunities there, and I suppose the great thing about it, I suppose, is that you have such expertise in the department, that you have so many contacts really with so many different companies and different areas in the industry. I suppose the big question, probably what a lot of people always ask you, Carole, is when you're on about the being a temporary and applied theatre studies, is what are the job opportunities?
Jobs. Yes, this is my favourite question. And this is my favourite question, particularly when it comes from parents who generally are standing at an open day with their arms crossed going, yeah, it all sounds fantastic, but... And I say, drama degree is fantastic. And it's great for a huge number of reasons. I mean, firstly, look, I'm a drama graduate, I have a job. You can always go on to further studies, go on to academia, all of that kind of thing. But also, well, I would always say that a general arts degree in any form is fantastic for setting you up for any kind of role. So do you come into a BA and leave in 3 or 4 years' time being a doctor or a scientist or no, but what you do is you come out with a set of what we like to call transferable skills, whereby a good arts degree teaches you how to think and teaches you how to learn and expand yourself in those ways. An excellent drama degree teaches creativity. So, for example, some of the best salespeople, marketing people, business people I know are all drama graduates. And it's because what we teach is, absolutely, there is specific knowledge to the theatre, but we teach creativity and we teach these transferable skills that, for example, like a drama graduate is going to have no problem doing a presentation. They don't, because they're well used to it. They're going to have no problem going, okay, well, this project has to be finished tomorrow and we've X, Y, and Z to do on it. How do we do it? They'll do it. We've put up shows, you know, like we do those kind of things, our bread and butter. So I actually think an arts degree in general is a fantastic piece of education, but specifically a drama degree sets you up with these set of transferable skills that actually mean anything is possible as a result. So I know some people want the security of, but I want to know that I will then do this. But what you will get from this is the opportunity to do anything. So yeah, transferable skills is the key term, and you 100% get that from a drama degree.
Okay, yeah, that's good to know. I suppose it's good to know that there's transferable skills there, that your options aren't limited really after your degree, that there's a lot of different areas that you could possibly turn to even outside of theatre or drama if you so wished. I know you mentioned at the start. Sorry, Carole, go ahead.
Sorry. No, just even within theatre, sometimes people think, oh yeah, but it can be an actor, director, or writer. What else? And you go, well, hang on, you could work for the Arts Council, or you could work in production, or you could work in all of these different areas. So even within theatre, the scope is a lot broader than you may think it is.
Okay, yeah, some great options available. I know you mentioned it earlier, Carole, but I suppose for people maybe who aren't familiar with Mary McAdoo College or maybe Limerick City, would you like to talk a little bit about the great facilities that are available in terms of the Lime Tree Theatre, maybe in the Bell Table?
Yeah, so I mean, as somebody, you can probably tell from my accent, I wasn't that familiar with Limerick City a while ago. Okay. But I have to say, Limerick has an unbelievable, thriving arts community. And it's really fantastic to see some of the really exciting work coming out of Limerick. So aside from the professional venues that we have, so we have the Bell Table in Limerick City Centre that we have access to. And, you know, that's a 220-seater theatre. And then we have the Lime Tree Theatre directly on campus, which is a much bigger theatre. And they're fantastic facilities because not only do we get to work in them, students then are also given access to free theatre tickets to go and see professional work that's put on there. So every semester you'll probably see 7 or 8 shows, depending on what that you'll get to go and see for free. So it's a fantastic opportunity that way. But also there are some great work kind of opportunities for you. So for example, I think it was Easter last year now, there was a huge site-specific show put on in the Cleves condensed milk factory called Bread Not Profits, which was a fantastic way of looking at Limerick City history and exploring different stories and that kind of thing. Like, basically half the crew were our students who got involved.
Okay. Yeah.
You know, and we really encourage that kind of a thing for our students to get involved in different kind of shows and take all of these opportunities. And what's fantastic about the arts kind of culture in Limerick is that everybody knows everybody, and everybody knows us and knows the department, and we're able to help you get those opportunities and, you know, try things out and do different things. I mean, we have students work teching shows in the Lime Tree, teching professional shows that go on there, you know. So it's a fantastic opportunity that because of our connection to the venues and because of our connection to the city and to people in the city, you get opportunities that you don't get if you know, in other drama departments around the country.
Okay, well, it's great to know there's that wider connection with the theatre, I suppose, community in Limerick and even further afield. I suppose a lot of people maybe listening tonight might be, you know, they might be Leaving Cert students this year. So what advice would you give to a first year student who's beginning or starting the program maybe in September, October time?
I think the best thing you can say for any student starting college is just go with it. And, aside from, doing societies and which we fully encourage, and getting involved in student life and all of that, but even within the classroom, in a drama classroom, don't close yourself off. Just go with it. Because if you come in saying, no, I only want to act and that's it, and that's all I want to do, you'll close yourself off to different avenues. Whereas if you come in saying, I don't know what I'm good at, I don't know what I'm interested in, but I'll try everything and I'll just go with it, and, trust that we know what we're doing. We know how to bring you along on this journey. I sound like I'm on the X Factor now, but sure, anyway. But we know how to help you, and just be open to everything, and try and soak up as much as you can, and don't worry too much. We're very aware, particularly this year, given everything that's gone on, we're very aware that you're nervous starting college and it's all very different and it's not like school. I will say that the CATS program, we're quite a tight-knit group. We're quite a family. Dysfunctional maybe, but like, even for example, if you come into the CATS program, straight away the students in older years are going to introduce themselves to you, and they will end up helping out on your show, you'll help out on their show. There's a fantastic bond between our students of all years. Even still, our graduating classes come back and help out and do different things and get involved, and there's a really nice community in our department and within our program. So just be open to things, and just have the crack, do the work, but have the crack, and allow yourself to have the crack, and be open to new experiences.
Yeah, no, very good point. And I suppose making that transition from secondary school to third level, it can be difficult for students, and I suppose particularly this year, given the whole COVID-19 pandemic, it might be a little bit more difficult as well. Just final question, because we're kind of running short on time, Carole. Just obviously helping students make their transition, we always advise students get involved with clubs and societies. There's a very active drama society in the college, isn't there, called Midas? Do you want to say a few words about that?
Yeah. So Midas, the Mary Immaculate Dramatic Arts Society, is a really, really successful dramatic arts society, among any university in the country. And we're a little bit different in our department, in that we have kind of a greater tie to it than most departments would with student societies. So we're involved with Midas, and we've produced shows for them for years and all of that kind of thing. So Midas, it does several shows a year. So usually it will do a couple of what we call straight plays, so not musicals essentially. And it's student led and student focused, but we're there to kind of run workshops or to get involved whenever we're asked to do so. And then it also puts on a few straight plays, generally in the first semester. And then in the second semester, it puts on a large scale musical. Usually happens in week 9 of the second semester, so it's usually March time. And that show goes on in the Lime Tree Theatre. And it's a large scale, large budget, full house production. That there could be up to, usually there's a cast, I think, of about 50 or 60 students within it. So obviously there'd be a lot of students from not the CATS program, to take part in that show. It's a fantastic way to meet people outside of your course, because as I said, the CATS students will all get to know each other very well, and we'll all be very, very friendly with each other. But it's a great way for them to meet BEd students or other BA students or that kind of thing. We very much encourage it. Now, we always say CATS comes first, so don't try telling us, oh, I have to go to rehearsal. You don't. You have to be in class. You have to be in this rehearsal. But we are very supportive of students getting involved, and it's a fantastic society, and it's a credit to MIC.
Okay. Well, I think that's all we have time for this evening, Carole. Just thanks again, Carole. You've been, I think, a fantastic speaker this evening, and you've given a great insight into what the BA Contemporary and Applied Theatre Studies at Mary Immaculate College is all about. So thanks very much for that. For anyone else that is listening, tomorrow night will be the second in our series, where I will be in conversation with Dr. Finn O'Muraku. So that's tomorrow night, Wednesday, the 17th of June at 7 p.m. I'll be in conversation with Dr. Finn O'Muraku, who's the head of school for post-primary teaching at MIC Thurles. So if you have any interest in any secondary teaching programs on our Thurles campus, make sure you tune in tomorrow night at 7 p.m. So to finish up, thanks very much to Carole again. I did a great job this evening, and I hope to talk to you or see you all again tomorrow night. So thanks very much, everyone, for joining us. Stay home.